Hello, everybody. This webinar and Hangout on Air is live. I am Carrie Peters, co-creator of Holistic MBA.
And I am Stacy Morgenstern. Holistic MBA is an international coach training company creating world-class leaders in the art, science, and business of coaching and transformation. We're so excited to be here. Carrie is in LA. You're in LA, right?
I'm in sunny, cosmopolitan, exciting Los Angeles. And for those of you who, because you know I live in, if you don't know, I live in Chicago, but I come out to Los Angeles for the winter. So if you're in the Midwest, if you're in the Northeast, if you're in a place that's super, super chilly, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you right now. I know how it feels.
You are not feeling them, actually. You are feeling the warmth.
Don't hate me. Don't hate me because I hate. It really is beautiful here.
And I am actually in Sayulita, Mexico right now. Woohoo! So I'm also getting to get away from the winter and cold of San Francisco. So here we are. We're joining you live. Thank you so much for being here. I just want to say if at any time our sound gets delayed or fragmented, please type into the chat box so that we can adjust it for you when we want to get a nice, clean recording. And I just want to actually officially welcome you to this complimentary webinar about discovering the secrets to becoming a masterful coach so you can feel confident charging higher fees and delivering amazing results for your clients in every session. So you're going to about to get a sneak peek into our secrets to creating true lasting transformation and attracting clients who will happily pay, even if you're just starting out or you have a crappy website or you don't know niche. Now, Carrie and I created an action guide for you. If you're on your computer or your phone, you can download it. Just in the chat box, there'll be a link for you right there, right to the right of the video. You'll want to take notes on this action guide if you can print it up, because it's going to be filled with so many powerful transformational coaching concepts that you can use right away in your coaching practice. So how do we know that what we're about to share will work for you? Carrie and I have personally trained over 7,500 coaches from 27 different countries. Most of them started with no website, no brand, and no email list, and yet many of them are making $5,000 to $10,000 per month consistently, and some of them have even surpassed that. What we've learned in our 8 years as professional coaches is that what really makes you a client magnet has very little to do with your website and very much to do with your confidence as a coach. It turns out that many coaches are not that confident. They're not confident about which questions to ask or what to do when clients going in a downward slope down a rabbit hole. They're not sure when to ask those questions, and they're absolutely not confident they can deliver the results that their programs promise. We want to change that.
Yeah, we absolutely want to change that. So who is this webinar for? We want to make sure that you know you're in the right place. So you're in the right place if you want to feel confident doing deep transformational work with clients that gets them lasting results, and you want to charge your fees with integrity. You're also in exactly the right place if you're not yet a coach, but you're curious about adding coaching to your existing practice without going through a long, expensive certification.
And you're also in the right place if you're curious about your own subconscious blind spots, those hidden places you may be holding yourself back in your business or in your life. Consider, where do you stop yourself? Where do you procrastinate or get in your own way? Where do you feel guilt or shame because you think you should be farther along than you are, or making more money than you are, or knowing more than you know? What keeps you from having everything that you want? The relationship, the body, the income, the freedom, the notoriety, the recognition. We often say in the transformational coaching method that transformation starts with you. The more you understand your own underlying reasons for not moving forward, the more you'll be able to assist others. I want to say that again. This is actually going to be in your action guide, and this is going to be one of our first, what we like to call writer-downers. These are the little gems, the little nuggets of wisdom that you're going to want to seal in for yourself and take with you, because these are things that you can start using right away in your own coaching practice. So what I was saying is that transformation starts with you. The more you understand your own underlying reasons for not moving forward, the more you'll be able to assist others. So on this training webinar, you're going to discover how transformation happens for yourself, for your clients, and for your business. Now, there's lots of coach trainings out there. Some of them are really good. But here's the problem. Most coaching methodologies are based on giving advice. And what happens when you give a client advice? They don't do it. They don't follow through, even when it's your best advice. In fact, most people know what to do, but they just don't do it. We've got to get to the underlying reasons of why that is and how to move someone forward. And when clients don't follow through with your recommendations or your best advice, it sets you up to feel like a fraud, questioning your abilities as a coach and doubting everything. It's a terrible feeling. What we've learned after coaching thousands of people is that great coaching is not about giving advice. Advice is not what motivates a client to follow through. If you've been coaching for any length of time, you already secretly know this to be true. At our last 3-day live event, a woman came up to me and said, I feel frustrated. I have this client who says that she wants to eat healthy, she wants to lose weight, she wants to feel good in her body, but she doesn't follow through on my recommendations. And I'm giving her my best tips. I'm giving her my best advice. She would get the results she wanted if she would just do it, but I can't get her to follow through.
We hear this so much. In fact, well, yeah, I totally, and the truth is it's not the first time we've heard it, and it certainly won't be the last, because this is the #1 problem for almost all helping professionals. Doctors, teachers, coaches, in all niches, whether it's health or business or love, they give clients great advice, but the client does not follow through and do what they're supposed to do. So if you get really frustrated when a client doesn't follow through, even though you're giving your best advice, then you're in exactly the right place. And you're also in the right place if you ever really wish that you had more skills to do deeper work with clients, the kind of deeper work that leads to permanent change. Now, in the transformational coaching method, we call this change work. Change work. So what is change work? Change work is a coaching process, something that's on your action guide. And if for some reason you're listening to the audio and you can't download it, don't worry. You can always access it later. So change work is a coaching process that helps your client be different without having to remember to be different. So change work is a coaching process that helps your client be different without having to remember to be different. So here's what we mean by that. So let's imagine that you're a health or wellness coach. And let's say that you have a client who binge eats ice cream every night. It's really likely that your health coaching school taught you to do something like help your client create a list of other behaviors she could do instead of going to the freezer and getting ice cream, like balancing out her food during the day, making sure she's eating enough protein and regular meals, drinking water, calling a friend, writing in a journal, having sex, taking a walk. And basically that list means that you're giving your client advice on what she can do instead of binge eat. And that advice might work for a while. But if you've been coaching for any length of time, you know it doesn't work for long. And why is that? Because that advice, writing in a journal, calling a friend, adding more protein during the day, making sure she's eating enough, taking a walk instead of binging, all of that requires willpower. That advice requires your client to hold out against her urge to binge and make herself do something else. Meanwhile, she still wants to binge. And if she doesn't at first, she probably will after a few journal writing sessions. So with the change work process that we teach in the transformational coaching method, we show you how to rewire your client's thought process so that she completely loses the urge to binge. I'm going to say that again. We show you how to rewire your client's thought process so that she completely loses the urge to binge. She doesn't need the list of action steps. She doesn't need willpower because she's completely forgotten about even moving toward the freezer. Your client is different without having to do any work. She doesn't have to remember to be different. This is a radical up-leveling of what's possible in your coaching. And that's what we want to pass on to you in this webinar and in our upcoming transformational coaching deep dive training. So on this webinar, you're going to discover why the typical coaching model of giving advice doesn't work and what to do instead if you want your clients to get results. You're going to discover why your clients, and maybe even you, experience the same ruts over and over again and how to break that cycle for good. And this is the secret that takes you from decent coach to holy shizballs coach. You're going to discover how our graduates have used their transformational coaching skills to successfully charge higher fees in their coaching practices. You're also going to discover something really important, which is how becoming a masterful coach creates a steady stream of clients without drowning in marketing minutia. Because when you're confident creating lasting change, you'll attract clients who will happily pay regardless of how crappy your website is or even if you have one. And for those of you who want to learn more about the 4-week transformational coaching method deep dive that starts on January 23rd, we'll share more about that as well.
There's going to be a lot of writer-downers on this call. So please turn off any distractions, grab a pen and paper if you don't already have one so you can take notes. You can also download the action guide we've provided for this call. You'll find it on the webcast page to the right of our video, and follow along with us in this training. There'll be a link right there that you can click on and open up the action guide. We'll be going about 90 minutes. Feel free to type questions and comments in the webcast box so we can clarify any teaching points.
Yes, we have teams standing by for you on that webcast box. So here's some quick background on us in case you don't know Stacy or myself. So Stacy and I have gotten really good at creating change in ourselves and others and in the world. And between us, we've logged over 10,000 coaching hours, and clients have paid us up to $1,000 an hour for our work. Now, we don't share that to brag because it seems kind of tacky to even say it, but we do share it because we want to give you a sense of how others value the transformation they get from working with us. But of course, we didn't start out at that fee, so how did we create this? Well, Stacy and I have been studying personal growth since the early 90s, and Stacy had her first big break in professional coaching as a health coach. And when I met her in 2006, she was like the poster child for a successful coaching business. She had gone from 0 to 72 paying clients and made $96,000 in her first year of coaching. And then she went on to almost double that in her second year, scaling up with group programs and hiring other coaches to take the overflow of clients. And this was back in 2008.
Carrie got her first big start as a money and business coach. I remember hearing her on a teleseminar talking about being the first woman in her family to make her own money. And I was so fascinated by the idea of family legacy around money. And the stuff she was teaching was helping healers make friends with money. These are people who often have an inner conflict around charging for their work, because shouldn't healing work be free for everybody, and can't be earning money and be a spiritual person, or earning money or charging a lot is greedy. And she was helping people reconcile this inner conflict so they could do their great work and be generously compensated for it. Her clients were super successful, and I was impressed. I started following her. And in 2010, we both had grown large followings. Clients were basically emailing us and asking if they could work with us together because we both had unique strengths. And they started calling us their dream team. Carrie's really brilliant at strategy. I had a lot of coaching and inner work background. So we joined forces to create Holistic MBA, which is now an international coach training company that teaches people how to master the art, science, and business of coaching and transformation. So our clients can build a profitable coaching business that they love while helping more and more people all over the world.
So we grew Holistic MBA to $1 million company in just 18 months, and then to a multi-million-dollar company in just 2 years. And during that time, I received the award for Outstanding Achievement in the Business of Coaching. Stacy achieved a Master Practitioner status in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and together we put countless certifications and coach trainings under our belts. So between us, we've successfully coached over 7,500 clients from all over the world, both at live in-person seminars and online, and we've spoken on stages to audiences of 500 to 5,000 coaches. And so we're really good at strategy and marketing and attracting clients and teaching people how to do that. So it came as a real surprise when hundreds of our clients who were studying with us on business and marketing started telling us over and over again that something that they were blown away by was our coaching skills. The way that we're loving and compassionate and intuitive and have a unique ability to laser in very fast on the core of what's going on for a client and to stretch the client in ways that often no one else ever has before. And people kept asking us, they were like, how the heck do you coach like that? You always seem to know exactly which questions to ask to get to the heart of the matter. Even coaches who've been coaching for a long time have said to us, oh my gosh, these exercises that you're doing are so powerful. Will you teach me how you coach? Which is how we came to create the transformational coaching method, or TCM as we like to call it, so that we could share our secrets for creating lasting transformation, where the results that our clients get are consistent with what they want, and most importantly, those results last. So we're really excited on this webinar to introduce you to the concepts of TCM and how you can start using it right away. And for those of you who want to go further and deeper, then later on the webinar we'll share how you can participate in our upcoming 4-week TCM deep dive training. And I'll just tell you, our secret agenda, our mission here is to create more masterful coaches in the world. Not just ordinary coaches, but masterful coaching, because coaching is a fast-growing industry. According to the International Coaching Federation, coaching generates $2 billion per year in revenue, and it's growing rapidly, but this is a young industry. So there's enormous opportunity to leap to the top 1% of this field, and you do that not by some crazy marketing technique, but by mastering deep transformational coaching skills.
Great, so let's dive in. First, we want to share with you some insights about coaching someone on a deep level. The concepts we'll be teaching you today have taken Carrie and I years to really understand. I got interested in the field of personal growth, peak performance, health and wellness, and human potential in 1993. You can see this hilarious picture of me. Oh yes, jaded teenager.
My favorite picture, Stacey.
My roommate at the time was a landmark program leader, if you're familiar with Landmark. And so I got to receive a lot of coaching at that time. What I was experiencing for myself was these breakthrough moments, this feeling of euphoria when something clicks in your brain about why you are the way you are, and you think, oh my God, I get it. It's so profound. It feels like you just got the keys to the happiness castle and everything is about to change. Perhaps you've experienced this with a client. It feels fantastic in the moment. A little ego stroking for you as the coach, this big aha moment. It's a bit of a high for the client. You're patting yourself on the back. And then 3 weeks later, they come dragging their feet in a pit of hopelessness and despair. It's the backslide into self-sabotage, doom, and despair. So you do some coaching, and maybe they have that same breakthrough again. They feel that high. They claim they get it. And in that moment, they believe, yes, this time will be different. And again, you pat yourself on the back for facilitating this incredible breakthrough moment. This hope-inducing breakthrough cycle continues. Many coaches have built businesses on reselling the same breakthrough over and over again without actualizing any real change. That's not transformation. That's a fake breakthrough, or what we like to call a fake through. That's the result of giving advice instead of learning to facilitate transformation. Here's another problem with giving advice. I had a private coaching client who worked with me for 3 years. Why did she keep coming back? It's not because I gave good advice. If your value that you bring to the relationship is that you give advice, it won't be very long before your clients can predict your advice and basically give themselves the advice that they would get from you. meaning you bring no more value to the relationship.
Hmm.
So let's just sum that up. This is in your action guide. Okay? If my relationship with a client is based on my advice for them, then once they've got my advice and they think the way that I think, I'm done. Right? If, on the other hand, the value that you bring is that you are a powerful engagement with what they want instead of what they don't want on any subject or topic, then your value to the relationship is permanent. It has unlimited longevity.
Yeah, even if your client initially comes to you wanting to like get off gluten, for example, if you have masterful coaching skills, well, then you help her get off gluten, but then you can continue to deepen your work and help her manifest her deepest desires in every area of her life, which works really beautifully because it means that as she grows, you also grow and stretch, and the whole relationship is really satisfying and rewarding.
Plus, when a client stays with you for years, you don't have to go get more clients all the time, so you don't have to do all that marketing.
Yeah, exactly. That means you don't have to be chasing clients. You don't have to be drowning in marketing minutia when what you really want to be doing is transforming lives. What we've noticed is that the coaches that graduate from our programs are attracting clients and making great money, and they're making it fast. Why? Because their clients get life-changing results and become raving fans. One of our grads, Tessanne Lerner, built her entire coaching practice on word of mouth. And this is because she's a masterful coach. She exudes confidence. Her clients pay top dollar, but not because she has a pretty website or even an email list. So what is the secret that takes you from decent coach to holy shiz coach, where clients become these raving fans who are happily paying you regardless of how crappy your website is? Now, we told you earlier that great coaching is not about giving advice. This was a revelation to me years ago. And think about it. When you watch somebody like Tony Robbins, for example, who is an iconic coach, talk about a masterful coach, you're not seeing him give advice. So what is he doing that looks and feels like magic? Well, he's addressing the underlying reason that the client stays stuck. So here is a super ninja coaching secret. That no matter how good your advice is, the client won't get results unless you address the underlying reason for staying stuck. No matter how good your advice is, the client won't get results unless you address the underlying reason for staying stuck. And that underlying reason has something to do with what we call the 3 basic human needs. Those 3 needs are love, safety, and belonging. Love, safety, and belonging. Now, each of us has a unique coding or programming in our brains that tells us when we get to keep love, safety, and belonging, and when love, safety, and belonging is at risk. So here's an example with a really funny drawing and graphic and picture. So you want to picture yourself, like me, with a rubber band around your waist on one side. And the other part of the rubber band is around a big, strong pole, like a telephone pole, that represents your beliefs about what you need to do or be or have to feel loved, safe, and like you belong. So that rubber band is partly around you and partly around that big pole. Let's call that the pole of beliefs. What you believe you have to do or be or have to feel loved, safe, and like you belong. Now let's imagine, kind of like in the picture that you're seeing, that you start walking away from the pole and toward the result that you want. Maybe it's more money, maybe it's a marriage, maybe it's a soulmate, maybe it's size 4 jeans, maybe it's a booming coaching practice. And as you're walking toward that result and walking away from the pole, the rubber band is being pulled tighter and tighter and tighter against your skin because it's still firmly around that pole of beliefs. That pole's not bending. It's standing strong and firm, and the rubber band just gets tighter and tighter and tighter as you get closer and closer to what you want. And what happens when a rubber band gets so tight, and it stops stretching? It snaps, and it retracts you back to your pole of beliefs. So if you've ever heard a client say, or if you've ever said yourself, it feels like something is holding me back, that is quite literally what is happening. And what's holding you back is your programming or your subconscious beliefs about what you need to do or be or have to keep the feelings of love, safety, and belonging intact.
I'd love to give an example. Let's say that Carrie is a part-time. You know what? I think I'm echoing. Can you hear that, Carrie?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're just you're cutting in and out a little bit, and I'm like so excited about the example. Do you want me to? Should I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So, for example, let's say for years I was a part-time actor and a part-time coach, and let's say I wanted to make $100,000 so I could buy a house. So I signed up for transformational coaching method training. I start doing really well. My confidence as a coach is soaring. Meanwhile, I go to rehearsal at night, and my starving artist friends see me getting ahead, and they see that I'm the only one that's not complaining anymore about where the rent is coming from. And at the dinner break, we go out, and I can afford to buy dinner for everyone. And my friends start to push me out, like, well, she's no longer one of us, because part of the rules of belonging in the starving artist tribe is struggle. So if I'm no longer struggling, then it feels like I'm losing my sense of belonging. And this creates a really dangerous inner conflict. It sets up in my mind this thought of, if I make money, then I lose my friends, which creates a really strong pull in the opposite direction from what I want. So if I don't shift my beliefs on this, then there's a really good chance that my subconscious mind will find creative ways to eat away at the money that I've earned. So if we have a subconscious objection to having or keeping money, we'll lose it, sometimes in creative ways that other people would call bad luck, like, oh no, my car broke down. Oh shoot, there's $1,600. That was an accident. I gained 15 pounds. I just happened to have 30 pints of ice cream. I don't know how that happened. Now I have to buy a new wardrobe. There's another $3,000. Or, oh, darn it, I thought I signed up 3 new clients, but they all just disappeared on me, and there goes $6,000. And those are all sort of valid things that can happen. But what's really going on is that my rubber band is really still tied to that strong, unbending pole of beliefs that's trying to help keep my feelings of love, safety, and belonging intact. So in order for me to get what I want, and believe me, I know, because I actually went through this process, and the transformational coaching method is what helped me to move through it. So in order for me to get what I want, the coach that's working with me has to know how to start moving my pole of beliefs so that it aligns with what I want to manifest in my life now, instead of holding me back away from what I want. So if we as coaches don't have the skill to move the pole of beliefs for our clients, then no lasting change will stick for them. Now, why is this true? Why is this true? Let's look at the structure and the wiring of your brain to find out. Now, don't worry, this is not a complicated science lesson, because Stacy used to be a cookie and pie taster at a grocery store before she became a health coach, and I was an actress, so we promise that if we can understand this stuff, you can too. It's really simple. So courtesy of evolution, we all have more than one brain, and each brain has a different set of instructions and descriptions about how to keep us safe in the world. So let's look at those 3 brains. Hey, Stace, I can check in with you. How are you? How's your sound doing over there?
Let's see. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
So we can look at the 3 brains.
Echo.
Okay, well then I'll just keep going. So we'll look at the 3 brains. The brainstem is the first, the second is the limbic system, and the third is the cortex. So let's learn a little bit about these 3. The first brain to develop was the brainstem, or the critter brain. Critter, like primal brain. And your critter brain is in charge of the physical, your heart rate, your breathing, your blood sugar, anything to do with keeping you alive. It's constantly taking a recording of the entire neural system and categorizing it in terms of risk versus safety. Where is survival feeling threatened? Where is love, safety, or belonging feeling threatened? Because if any of those are feeling threatened, it feels like survival is being threatened. So the critter brain does not like change. It does not like unpredictability. It gets really set with what it knows can keep love, safety, and belonging intact. And this, the angels are singing. This is why we all have patterns. Patterns repeat themselves. Why do they do that? Because to the critter brain, if you've survived an experience once, that experience is worth repeating because you didn't die the first time. You're still alive. So let's keep doing that experience that kept you alive, even if it's not an experience you actually want. Right? So let's say that again. To the critter brain, if you've survived an experience once, that experience is worth repeating because you didn't die the first time. It's a survivable experience. So let's keep doing that experience that kept you alive. So for some of us, what is survivable is a bad relationship. So we keep having that same one over and over and over again, or we keep having that same argument with our spouse or our partner or a boyfriend or girlfriend. Or for some of us, what's survivable is losing weight and gaining it back, and losing weight and gaining it back, which is why we do it over and over and over again. And guess what? We keep not dying. We're still alive. So for the critter brain, anything new gets coded as unfamiliar. And unfamiliar equals risky, which equals unsafe. Now let's take a look at the second brain to develop, which is the limbic system. And the limbic system is concerned with generating emotions. So it uses different emotions to promote a sense of safety and well-being. So the emotions are either driving you away or toward experiences that are going to affect your sense of love, safety, and belonging. So let's say, for example, a new experience occurs. Of course, because it's new, your critter brain will signal danger. And then the limbic system will generate the emotions that will bring in a feeling of safety and well-being. So sometimes the feeling could be a feeling of anxiety or fear, so that we move the heck away from that new experience. Now, the third brain to develop was the cortex, or the human brain. And this is the logical, human, conscious mind. This is the part of us that justifies our choices and behaviors and makes meaning out of our feelings and experiences. So for example, and this is really interesting, when potential clients are considering whether or not to invest in your coaching programs, and they suddenly feel scared or skeptical, their critter brain may have said, no freaking way, because that means they're going to experience something new. And remember, the critter brain does not like change. So the limbic system then loads up fear, anxiety, and skepticism, and then the cortex, or the human brain, makes sense of the feelings. In other words, the cortex is coming up with a reason to justify the critter brain slamming on the brakes and screeching, no freaking way to this change. And the cortex does this really beautifully, coming up with reasons that justify backing out of your program or saying no in a way that you feel, as the coach, that you can't criticize, address, confront, or hold them at fault. This is fascinating stuff. So when you ask your client the magic question, would you like to work together? Here's what's happening in the brain of your client. This is game changing. I know you're ready for this. There are 3 reactions that might occur. Let's look at the first reaction. So you've heard of the fight or flight response, right? You've heard of that, fight or flight. Well, there's a third part to that stress response. There's fight, there's flight, and there's freeze. Your critter brain can also freeze. So in the first reaction, you say, would you like to work together? And your client's critter brain might freeze. And then her limbic system is going to load up fear. And then your cortex is going to rationalize all that by saying, I want to think about it. Can I call you next week? So notice that the freeze reaction looks and sounds like indecision or analysis paralysis. Let's look at the second possible reaction in the brain. So when you ask your client, would you like to work together, the second reaction that he or she might have in your critter brain is the fight reaction that you're very familiar with, the fight reaction. So then the limbic system is going to create feelings of anger, load up feelings of anger. And the cortex is going to rationalize all of that by saying, this is too expensive. I can't afford it. Who are you to charge this much? This is crazy. Let's look at the third possible reaction. So let's say your critter brain has the flight reaction, the flight reaction. Then the limbic system starts to load up feelings of nervousness and anxiety. And the cortex rationalizes that by saying, oh, I have to ask my spouse, as if it's not the person's decision to make. They're going to push off responsibility to someone else. We also call this the human shield. Or that nervousness or anxiety will cause the cortex to say, I'm not ready yet, or this isn't the right time. Isn't this absolutely fascinating? Rarely will a client simply say, no, I choose not to do your program now, that is all. They will always have a logical reason or a rationalization to confirm for themselves and to you that they're making the right choice that can't be contested. And that settles the client's critter brain, which is trying to make sure that they're okay and they keep love, safety, and belonging intact. So this is a pretty sophisticated system. So let's notice an enormous difference between what drives the critter brain and what drives the cortex, or the human brain. So the main driver of the brainstem, or the critter brain, is fear. Fear, with the goal of survival and no change. Now, the main driver of the cortex, or the human brain, is love. It's love, with the goals of learning, expansion, and basically nothing but change. So our cortex, or human brain, is always imagining things being different and better, while our critter brain simultaneously is just trying to make sure that everything stays the same. And then the limbic system is just trying to keep the peace between the two. So let's look at an example of how this conflict between the human brain and the critter brain plays out in a coaching relationship. So you remember earlier on the webinar, we had the example of the health coaching client who binge eats ice cream at night. Well, we mentioned that most health coaching schools teach you to give your client action steps, like adding protein during the day, or making sure she's eating enough and balanced meals, drinking water, or doing another action instead at night, like calling a friend, or writing in a journal, or having sex, or taking a walk. And that advice is really exciting and appeals to your client's cortex, her human brain. She's thinking, ooh, there's hope. This can help me stop binging. And for a few days, she is able to call a friend. She's able to write a journal. She's able to eat regular meals throughout the day, until she's pulled her rubber band so far from her pole of beliefs that her critter brain gets triggered. And the critter brain goes, wait a minute, something is changing here and we are not safe. And then the limbic system comes into play, and it loads up nervousness and anxiety and tension that mount so high that your client starts to feel like she is going to burst unless she binge eats. So she does. And then she feels horrible and ashamed, and that she's failed again. So maybe she even skips her next session with you to hide how ashamed she is. Or maybe she blames you and says your program doesn't work and she wants her money back. Or maybe she just bawls her eyes out on the phone to you, and you, as the coach, feel like you are terrible and you suck and you're a fraud, because you've tried everything you know with this client. You've given her action steps, you've given her the dietary recommendations, you've done everything, and technically it should be working. But it's not. And you feel horrible, like maybe you really just shouldn't be doing this coaching thing at all, because you can't even help this client put down the pint of Ben & Jerry's every night. And then you become really scared, and you get nervous to getting more clients, let alone charge higher fees, because you're afraid that you really can't help anyone, that you really won't get results for people. And then you start to feel stuck and overwhelmed in your business, which conveniently paralyzes you, because then you don't have to put yourself out there and get more clients and face the fear that you're not a good coach.
But on the other hand, somewhere inside you know you're capable and still want to do work that is meaningful.
Stace, You are popping in and out a little bit there.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so like Stacey was saying, and her, that the audio in Mexico is a little, but she's going to be here with us on the chat. So this is a wild pattern that happens, and we've seen it happen to I don't know how many coaches because they're not taught this stuff. Because somewhere deep inside you, you actually know that you're capable, and you so want to do work that's meaningful. You actually know that that's your purpose. So in this crazy scenario, it feels like the universe is working against you, but it's not. And it's not your fault. The truth is that there's no coaching school that we're aware of that teaches this stuff, which I'm just going to go out on a limb and say is criminal, because it's essential to know this if you want to create true lasting transformation. If you've ever talked to a human, and chances are that you have, you find out that people know what to do, but they don't always do it. Follow through is one of the biggest obstacles coaches face with getting results. 99% of the time, it's not because you suck as a coach. It's not because you have the wrong action steps. It's not because you need more information and more scientific knowledge. It's not because the client needs more discipline and willpower. It's because they have an underlying inner conflict between the human brain, the cortex, and the critter brain, or the brainstem. And as long as you have that conflict, there is no checklist, no book, no action step that will work. Let me say that again. As long as there is an underlying inner conflict between the cortex and the critter brain, there is no checklist, no book, no list of action steps that will work. But when you can resolve the conflict, and this is in your action guide, as also a writer-downer, when you can resolve the conflict between the human brain and the critter brain for your client, you can help her be different without her having to do any work. Because all parts of her are aligned, which means it's safe to be fully expressed in whatever niche it is that you're working together. And this is why Stacey and I created the Transformational Coaching Method and the deep dive training that's beginning on January 23rd. This training is about giving you the tools to help you resolve the conflict between the critter brain and the human brain so you can help your client get what she wants and have it last. And so you can get the career you want and have it last as long as you want it. You can think of the three brains, and this is also in your action guide, think of the three brains like a stoplight. If you have a green light in the human brain, meaning the human brain is saying, yippee, change, but the critter brain has a red light saying, danger, oh, hells no, then you won't get the result for your client. You've got to be able to get a green light in all three brains in order for change to stick. And this is what you learn to do in the upcoming 4-week Transformational Coaching Method Deep Dive. So many coaching methods don't work in the long run because they're not showing you the skills and techniques necessary to get the green light in all three brains. So in the deep dive, you'll learn exactly how to create permanent, lasting change for your clients, which gives you the confidence, the huge, solid, rock-solid confidence to attract committed clients who will happily pay high fees, no matter how crappy your website is, or whether you ever have a product or service on the internet. Once you learn this truth about what really creates transformation for your clients or for yourself, there's just no going back. It's too true and too exciting to ignore, especially if you want to leap into the top 1% of coaches. So if this is resonating for you and you want to take it further, I know when I heard this, I was like, I don't only want to take it further, I want to take it all the way down the road. I want to be a master. Take me there. And if you feel that way too, then we want to introduce you to the Transformational Coaching Method Deep Dive. So you can come with us over to the information page. It's at tcmmethod.com/deep dive, tcmmethod.com/deep dive. And we're going to continue to teach, and there are going to be some helpful visuals on that information page. If you're on the webcast with us, you should see a button that says TCM Deep Dive. If you click on that button, it'll take you right over to the page and you don't have to type anything in. So we'll just take a moment for people to get on that page so you can see those visuals. So what we have for you starting on January 23rd is called the Transformational Coaching Method 4-week deep dive. And what you're going to learn in the deep dive are specific, powerful coaching techniques and question sequences that resolve the conflict between the critter brain and the human brain. So these coaching question sequences and techniques get a green light in all 3 brains so that you can set your clients up for inevitable success. So here's just some of what you're going to discover in the deep dive. You're going to discover how to coach someone who's stuck, including and most importantly yourself, how to stop sneaky self-sabotaging behaviors and limiting beliefs from running the show, how to release your fears of being seen and heard, why you or your clients pull back every time you're close to success. You're going to learn how and when to go deeper with your clients, because this is interesting. If you choose the wrong time to go deeper, clients will actually shut down, stop showing up to your sessions, or lash out against you. You're going to learn how to ask powerful questions so that you can hear what wants to be transformed in any coaching situation or conversations. You know how to ask those magical questions. You're going to learn how to let go of your own shame, guilt, fear, resentment, and embrace love, freedom, and full self-expression in every area of your life. Can you imagine looking around at every single area of your life and saying, my life is magical? That's what transformational coaching can do. You're going to discover how to use the transformational coaching method to facilitate change in yourself and others. And also, you're going to get really crystal clear about what you personally desire in all areas of your life. And I'm going to talk about that more in just a moment here, because it's a really important concept. But first, you may be wondering, wow, that's a lot of stuff. How are you going to share all that with us in just 4 weeks? And that's a great question. That's why we call this training a deep dive, because we're going deep and we're doing it fast. And to help us do that, we've designed a special system that will walk you through the learning and the development of specific coaching skills, specific transformational coaching skills. And this system is called the DARE system, D-A-R-E, DARE. And we call it the DARE system because even though when you learn the science behind transformation, you know in your gut that nothing else makes sense, it still takes tremendous courage to become a masterful coach. It takes tremendous courage to be a leader for your clients, to hold a big vision for them, and to charge higher fees in your business. It takes tremendous courage to create a business and a life that feels authentic for you, regardless of what others might think. That takes boatloads of courage. So we challenge you, we dare you to say yes to that and come over with us to the information page at tcmmethod.com/deep dive, tcmmethod.com/deep dive, or if you're on the webcast, you can simply click on the TCM Deep Dive button, and that'll take you over to this page. Now, if you're on the page, you want to scroll down the page to the halfway point until you see the DARE system described. So let's look at that system together. So DARE is an acronym, and the first letter of that acronym is the letter D, and that stands for desire. I mentioned just a few moments ago that in the Transformational Coaching Method Deep Dive, you'll find out and really understand what you desire in all areas of your life. And now this is interesting. The only prerequisite for TCM to work for you or for your clients is that you have to want something. And you might be like, yeah, duh, as my niece would say, duh, of course I want something. But you might be surprised to learn that the #1 coaching question that's actually the hardest to answer is, what do you want? Now, why is that true? Why is that the hardest question in the world to answer? Well, because your client may not believe that she gets to have or can have what she wants, or that it's possible to have what she wants. She might not believe that she deserves what she wants. She might believe that she'll have to suffer to get what she wants. Or she might believe that if she gets what she wants, she'll be taking away from others. So there's a way in which we just automatically deny our desires. You might be doing that too. You might not believe that you can have an amazing, easy, lucrative career as a coach. That might sound too good to be true to you. It did to me when I first started. I was like, really? I can tell you on the other side it is true, and it is that good. But you might be afraid to really claim your desire to charge high fees and have a big business, because what will your family or other people think of you? So in call number 1 of the deep dive, we're going to uncover your true desires and your client's true desires using a magical 5-question coaching sequence. This coaching question sequence is the bedrock foundation of all the transformational coaching method work. We use it with our clients all the time, and once you learn it, you will too. Now, call number 2 is where we're going to share the second letter of our DARE system, and that's the letter A, which is about aligning. Now, you remember when I described the pole of beliefs, that the way you are able to allow your client to move toward what she wants is to move the pole of beliefs with her so that it's aligned with what she wants. When people talk about letting go of what's holding you back, this is what they're referring to, but it's not really a letting go. It's actually a bringing forward of the pole of beliefs so that you can align with your desires and therefore receive them. And in call 2, you'll learn a really cool exercise that we're going to demonstrate with someone on the call to transform self-judgment into self-love. This is something that you could use with any coaching client on any topic. And you're going to want to bring tissues to this call because there's going to be tears. Just wait till you practice it for yourself in the live skills lab, and just wait till you use it with your clients. They're going to freak out and think you're magical. Now, in call number 3, we're going to go through the third step of the DARE system, and that, of course, is the letter R. And R stands for receiving. And we're going to be diving deep into why receiving feels so hard for some people and how to help your clients or yourself give themselves permission to receive more goodness into their lives. You ever asked yourself, what if every single area of my life was so good I could hardly believe it? What would have to be true for me? That's what this call is all about. And again, we'll teach you another coaching question sequence that goes deeper into what stops people from receiving. And then in the 4th step of the DARE system on call 4, we're going to share advanced coaching tips that inspire you to express yourself. And that's the letter E, the final step of the DARE system. It's about expressing who you are as a coach. And your style can be totally unique. You don't have to be like any other coach and put yourself in some kind of box. You don't have to coach like me. You don't have to coach like Stacy. You don't have to coach like any of our graduates. You get to be completely you in your coaching style. And we'll show you how. Plus, in this call, we also want to give you some safety nets. We want to show you what to do when you find yourself stuck in a coaching session and you're not sure what to ask next, and other common like, uh-oh, coaching moments. We want to show you how to deal with those in a really successful and effective way. So every single training call goes like this. First, on the training call, we're going to teach you a new coaching skill. And every coaching skill that you learned is designed to get a green light in all 3 brains. Next, Stacy's going to demonstrate the coaching skill live so that you can hear it in action, and you may even be the demo client. We always take one right from the call. And after that demonstration, then we'll deconstruct the demonstration so you can get the inside view of the not so obvious but really effective coaching nuances that are happening between Stacy and the demo client. Plus, we'll give you tips on how to use what you learned, the skill you learned, with your own clients. And finally, and most importantly, each training call will be followed a few days later by a live skills lab, a live coaching skills lab, so that you can practice the coaching skill you just learned, both as the coach and as the client. So as you are learning the coaching skill, you are also going to be the client and work on your own stuff. We thought a lot about how to teach TCM in a way that would be integrated like into your bones, rather than just up in your head. Because especially for coaching skills, knowledge without practice is just meaningless. And that's why in the deep dive, after every training call, we'll have a live coaching skills practice lab a few days later. So each week, there's one training call and one skills lab. And the skills lab is the place where you're going to practice each week's coaching skill with a buddy. Now, each lab, what we create for you is a step-by-step outline. So you and your coaching buddy will know exactly what to practice, exactly how to practice. The coaching question sequence is going to be there. You're never going to be out in the middle of nowhere guessing at what you're supposed to be doing. So the skills lab is a really safe environment so that you can try out the new coaching skill so that by the time you take it and use it with a paying client, you feel really confident. And now we've got some other goodies with this training. For each training call, you get beautifully designed colored handouts with coaching question sequences and/or done-for-you scripts for each training call and each coaching skill. So what that means for you is that it's going to be really easy for you to use these new coaching skills with your very next client so they can start to see incredible results. And I'll tell you, Stacy and I both, we call them cheat sheets. We would not be without coaching cheat sheets in front of us during a session. Whether you work with someone in person or you work with them over the phone or you work with them in Skype, you can have these cheat sheets with you all the time. I have an entire binder of coaching cheat sheets. So we give you coaching cheat sheets for every skill that you learn. Now, if you can't make a live call or if you can't make a skills lab, no problem. The live training calls are recorded and transcribed so that you can use them forever. The skills labs, there's a section where the description of the skills lab is recorded, but the actual practice session itself is not recorded. You'll be paired off with a buddy. Our teleseminar system does that for you, so you don't have to find a buddy. You don't have to worry about that. And then your practice session is confidential. We joke and we say what happens in TCM stays in TCM. Nobody's going to hear that coaching session. You'll also have in the TCM Deep Dive a private Facebook group because when you're doing work this deep, community is everything. So this Facebook group is your 24/7 lifeline during the training and beyond. And you'll be surprised, the TCM community is super active because everyone in this community loves to geek out on coaching and geek out on personal growth. In fact, we think community is so important that we have a major bonus for all of the TCM deep divers. Community, in fact, is one of Holistic MBA's main values. It's one of our top 5 values. So it's so important to us that we're going beyond the community on the Facebook page and giving you an opportunity to meet everyone in the deep dive and to meet Stacy and I and our team and all of our graduates live, not all of them, but a good number of them, live and in person. We are going to gift you with one free ticket to our upcoming Holistic MBA live training event this May 1st through the 3rd in New York City. This is so exciting. The event is called Holistic MBA Live, Step Into Your Spotlight. And we currently have people paying $500 to attend this event for a ticket, for one ticket. So this is a huge bonus. And Holistic MBA Live is a knock your socks off, life-changing 3-day live event with me, Stacy, the whole Holistic team, Holistic MBA team, and 500 health, wellness, life, and personal development coaches. And if you know anyone who's been to one of our events, don't take my word for it, ask them. They'll tell you that it's amazing. Holistic MBA Live is going to build on what you learn in the deep dive training in 2 main ways. You'll learn and practice more advanced transformational coaching skills, and you'll get to practice them live. It's really powerful. It's fantastic to practice it virtually because you will work virtually with a lot of your clients, but it's also really important to have that live practice. And at the event, you're going to learn how to make money with the coaching skills that you've learned. We're going to be sharing a step-by-step system to help you create your first or next $5,000 and how to create higher-end coaching packages. And many of our clients have used this system successfully to earn $5,000 to $10,000 per month or more. And at Holistic MBA Live, you're going to learn to do exactly what they're doing, so you won't want to miss it. And you can, like I said, you don't have to take it from me. You can read and watch videos of our clients on the information page for the deep dive. You can go to tcmmethod.com/deep dive and scroll through the page, and you'll see those stories and those videos of clients who have been through this training. Plus, once you've enrolled in deep dive and then you've reserved your seat at Holistic MBA Live, you can bring a friend for only $50 as long as seats are available. We have people who are such raving fans of TCM that they bring their husbands, their spouses, their boyfriends, their girlfriends, their sisters, their friends, their colleagues, other coaches, their therapists, everyone they know. They're like, you have to learn this TCM. And to get a feel for what the live training is like at Holistic MBA Live, what that event is, there's a video trailer on the information page, and you can watch that after this webinar. It's 3 minutes and totally worthwhile to watch because it gives you that real feeling of what it's like to be in the room, the electricity that's happening when we're in the room live with our team and our community. And since the event does always sell out, so bonus tickets are really only available as long as we have available seats. So if you know you want in and you know you want to reserve your Holistic MBA Live free ticket right away, then all you do is go to tcmmethod.com/deep dive, tcmmethod.com/deep dive to enroll in the deep dive training right now. Or if you're on the webcast page, there's a button where you can click TCM Deep Dive and it'll take you over to the information page. So let's talk about the investment in the deep dive training. So to recap, you're going to receive 4 live training calls with Stacy and with myself, 4 live coaching skills lab facilitated by our Holistic MBA team. You're going to receive handouts with coaching question sequences and or done-for-you coaching scripts for each coaching exercise, and you'll learn 1 on each training call. You'll receive recordings and transcripts of each training call, the private Facebook group community, 1 free ticket to Holistic MBA Live in New York City, May 1st through the 3rd. It's personally led every day by Stacy and myself. We teach everything, every day, the whole 3 days. And over 500 other like-minded, amazing coaches, practitioners, entrepreneurs. You will feel like you have finally found your home. We have heard that from almost everyone who's walked in our doors. And remember that that bonus is only available while supplies last. So the total value of this training is well over $1,500. But you will not pay that. And why is that? Because the reason that Stacy and I created the deep dive was to get transformational coaching out to as many people as possible so that we can create as many masterful coaches in the world as possible. Because ultimately, we feel like this is our greatest opportunity to make a contribution to help create a world that we all love living in. So we consciously chose an investment that everyone can do. 1 client gets this investment back 5 times over for many of you. So your investment for the 4-week deep dive is only $297. When you invest in full, the investment is only $297. And this is a no-brainer because the event bonus alone is worth twice this amount. And you're going to be learning stuff that is going to make your confidence as a coach and as a person soar. This is stuff that has taken us years and many thousands of coaching hours and many thousands of dollars of training to figure out. Oh, now I see someone asking on the webcast, is there a payment plan? Yes. We want to make saying yes very easy to this training. So you have the option to do 3 easy payments of $127. So option 1 is to invest in full at $297, and that's the best deal as you save over $80. And then option 2 is 3 payments of $127. And now I see a really good question that I want to share with you, and that is there a guarantee Yes, 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 absolutely. We want to put you completely at ease, especially if you've never worked with Stacy or myself or Holistic MBA before. You might be feeling like, well, who are these people? I'm not totally. So we want to put you completely at ease. If you don't find value, we don't want your money. So here's what you do. You listen to all 4 training calls. You participate in all 4 skills labs, and you don't have to do either one of those live. You attend HMBA Live May 1st through the 3rd as our guest. And if we haven't completely rocked your world, then just tell a team member before lunch on day 2 of the event. That's May 2nd. So before lunch on day 2 of the event, tell a team member, you just did not rock my world. And we'll insist that you take back 100% of your investment, plus we'll give you $100 out of our own pockets for your trouble. And we couldn't be any more fair than that, I don't think. So to enroll in the TCM 4-week deep dive now, you go to tcmmethod.com/deep dive, or if you're on the webcast page, you can click on the TCM deep dive button, and that'll take you over to the information page. So the transformational coaching method 4-week deep dive is perfect for you. If you're wondering, is this right for me or is it not? It's perfect for you if you are committed deep in your heart and your soul and your bones to becoming a masterful coach who can guarantee great results for your clients in every session. It's perfect for you if you want to feel confident charging higher fees so that ultimately you can work less and earn more and do deeper and more satisfying work with your clients. It's perfect for you if you really want to learn specific coaching question sequences, like exactly which question to ask when, exactly what words to say. I had to learn coaching as a paint-by-numbers coach. Many of you might be the same. I like to be told exactly what to do and exactly what to say when. So if you are like that, if you want those specific question sequences and techniques to help your clients and yourself get unstuck, then Deep Dive is perfect for you. This is really important. Deep Dive is really, really perfect for you if you personally want to experience more freedom in your coaching business and in your life. If you're someone who wants freedom and values freedom highly, but you're not experiencing it, TCM is perfect for you. It's also perfect for you if you really want to have fun while you're learning and growing, if you want to have a good time, because we like to have fun. Stacy and I call our business a mullet. We're business up front, but we're party in the back, right? And Deep Dive is really also for you if you are just craving being supported and stretched by a kick-ass community of like-minded people, both online and live in New York City at HMBA Live with Stacy and with me. So after completing the 4-week TCM Deep Dive, here's what you're going to have. You're going to have secret coaching skills that will boost your confidence to charge higher fees and guarantee great results for your clients in every session. And more importantly, you'll bust through your own stuck places, your own fears, and your own doubts so that you can create the business you want and the life you want to live. And to see everything that's included in the 4-week deep dive, and to see stories from all of our clients who've gone through it, not all of them, but many of them, you can go to tcmmethod.com/deep dive. That's tcmmethod.com/deep dive. And if you have questions about the training, I'm actually going to answer a few here and stay on the line. But if you have questions that I don't answer, you can always, or if you have to hop off the line, I know some of you do, you can email our team at support@holisticmba.com. Or if you're on the webcast, you can submit a question into the chat box, as long as we're on the webcast here. Or you can go to tcmmethod.com/deep dive, and you'll see some FAQs if you scroll all the way down on that page. Now again, I know that some of you might need to leave the webinar, and so for those of you who do have to leave us, we want to say thank you for your attendance and your presence and your commitment. We could feel your energy on this webinar. And we are so excited and hope we can welcome you into the TCM Deep Dive and see you at the event. But for those of you who'd like to stay on the call, I'd love to answer some questions that you're sending in. So feel free to stay with me here. The first question is, when does the 4-week Deep Dive start? Great question. So the training begins on Friday, January 23rd, and it's at 9 p.m. I'm sorry, 9 a.m. I did this the other day. We actually don't have trainings on Friday nights at 9, except for at Holistic MBA Live, but when we do it there, we're drinking. There's a cocktail party. So the training begins at 9 a.m. on Friday, January 23rd, not 9 p.m., 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. And then the training calls take place at the same time over the course of the 4 following Fridays. Now, what if you can't make the training calls? No problem at all. There has never been a time in the history of Holistic MBA when everyone in our courses has been able to make a training call live. The only people that make all the training calls live are Stacy and myself. So we designed it so that you can listen to the recordings at your own pace. I know for myself, I'm pretty busy and I like to be in trainings all the time, and most of the time I have to self-pace them and listen to recordings, and it actually works out great. I really feel like I get the full value of the training, and I think you will too. Plus, remember that you'll have transcripts of every training call, so that's going to really make it easy for you to take notes. It's going to be something that you're going to add to your coaching reference library for years to come. Maybe it will go into your coaching cheat sheet binder. Next question. This is a good one. When are the live coaching skills labs? Great question. So the live coaching skills labs take place on Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And those are going to start on Monday, January 26th, and then be on the 4 following Mondays. For those of you who can't make that time, no problem. It's very common that people can't make the live lab. So that's why we have the Skills Lab outline. It's a handout that you'll download from your members area, and it shows you step by step exactly how to conduct the practice session and exactly what to practice. Now, for those of you who are on the live Skills Lab, I think I mentioned earlier, but I'll repeat, that we'll pair you up with a buddy. The teleseminar system actually does that for us. So there's nothing you have to do. And if you can't make the live Skills Lab, you simply download the Skills Lab outline from your members area, and then you'll go to the Deep Dive private Facebook page, and you'll say, hey, does anyone want to practice Skills Lab 2? Let's set up a time. And people are very generous. There are many people that have to set up Skills Labs on their own time, and usually it's very easy to hook up with someone on the Facebook page. This is a good question. So she's writing in, I have a full-time job. How many hours a week should I plan to spend on this training? Great question. So ultimately, the training is designed so that you could do it completely self-paced if you want to. You don't have to listen to one live call. That means you can listen to training call recordings, you can schedule practice labs on your own that work with your schedule, especially when you have a full-time job or you've got kids at home or you have both. Then you have to be able to have flexibility. If you're participating in the live calls in each of the 4 weeks of this training, you can expect to put in about 3 hours a week. Good question. So this question is, I'm currently in your core training, and I'm a TCM grad. Do I get any special savings? Yes, you do. If you're a current core student, a core graduate, a Spotlight graduate, a TCM graduate, if you're an HMBA graduate, you're going to receive an email with the special savings for the deep dive after this webinar. And that's because current and past clients of ours are always eligible for the best deal on our new trainings. Now, if you don't receive your email, or if you have any questions about your savings, you can always email support@holisticmba.com. One other question that I'm seeing, I am not a coach. How will this training benefit me? Well, that's a great question, and the answer is this. We've seen 2 kinds of people who want to come into TCM. Now, most are coaches who want to expand their skill set. They ultimately want more confidence, they want more skill to do deeper work with clients, and they want to charge higher fees. There's also people who are therapists, trainers, acupuncturists, doctors, naturopaths, they have some other kind of modality, or maybe you're a money coach or a relationship coach, some kind of something that you're already doing with your clients, but you want to add more coaching to your practice. Or you might want to transition entirely. Like we've had some therapists who've come to us who want to add coaching to their practice, and some people who want to transition completely from therapy into coaching. And you can do, of course, whichever you'd like. And then we actually have, I said two kinds, but sort of three kinds of people that come into TCM. So first is coaches who want to expand their skill set. Second are people who want to add coaching to their existing practice. And then third is people who are really seeking deep personal growth and change. And there's some area of their life where they feel like they're at a crossroads in their life. They know something has to change, but they don't know what it is, and they are not sure how to change it. Or there might be some area where they're feeling stuck or trapped or underexpressed or just not sure how to get out of what it is that they're doing. So you can use the deep dive for yourself to get amazing results in your health, your body, your relationship with your primary romantic partner, your career, your money, even your relationship with your kids. And the good news about TCM is, as for everyone, as you're learning the coaching skills, you are delivering the coaching skills, but then you're also the client. So you are being coached on all these areas as well. So this is a professional training and a serious personal growth journey. Now, if you have any other questions about the TCM 4-week deep dive, you can contact our team at support@holisticmba.com. They'll get your questions answered. And we can't wait to see you on the inside of the TCM deep dive and to see you at Holistic MBA Live. And I'll just complete with one sort of personal note. And just a reminder that if you have any questions about the TCM 4-week deep dive, once our webinar completes, then you contact our support team, and that email is support@holisticmba.com, and they'll get your questions answered. And so as we close for the evening, I want to really thank you for your attention and your presence. It's been our honor to share this information with you, and we have loved every second of it. We feel so blessed that we get to spend this time with you and do this work. And I'll just tell you, you'll see if you're at Holistic MBA Live, you'll hear my personal story and how my life is completely different in every area than it was just 5 years ago. I have been around the block when it comes to transformation. I've been on this journey a long time, and I've tried every modality there is, everything. EFT, hypnosis, nutrition, therapy, law of attraction, everything. Everything. I have never in my life experienced the kind of transformation that I experienced with TCM, and that is why it is the method of transformation that I stand behind, that I offer, that I created with Stacy, who is a master TCM coach, and she is the main teacher of the TCM training. I stand behind this because I see, not just for myself, but over and over and over again with our clients, when people have this coaching information, it changes everything for them. Everything. It changes their coaching practice. It changes their confidence. It changes their relationships. This is a huge benefit of TCM that we don't talk as much about, so I'll just share with you. If there are, especially if you in your practice, as you're considering building your practice, if your primary relationship, if you are concerned that it will somehow affect your primary relationship in a negative way, TCM will blow your mind about how your relationships deepen and become more satisfying and enriching. We have literally gotten thank you emails and notes from people's spouses and partners and boyfriends and girlfriends and said, I don't know what you did, but I love it. Thank you so much for how you have helped my loved one. All your relationships become so much easier as a result of TCM. Your life becomes easier as a result of TCM. If I did not have this coaching method, I would never have this business. I would still have been broken, in debt, and miserable. I never would have believed that I could have been capable of having the kind of impact that we have in Holistic MBA. TCM is the direct result of us being here. Us being here tonight is the direct result of TCM in my life. I feel like I say to my clients who have gone through TCM, and they say, oh, I get it now. And you'll see on the information page at tcmmethod.com/deep dive, when you listen to those videos, especially those video testimonials from our clients, they are freaking out and going, I get it. I understand why you were so urgently telling me. Because it's easy. You hear things, feel like this is going to change your life. And it's easy to be like, yeah, whatever, it's going to change my life. No, really. This really is a life changer and a game changer. And what you're able to do for your clients is everything that you want to do for them but didn't know how. I promise you. I really, from the bottom of my heart, promise you that this is going to be one of the single best investments you have ever made in your coaching career and yourself. So thank you again so much for being here with us. We cannot wait to welcome you to the Transformational Coaching Method Deep Dive. The Facebook page is already swinging, and we can't wait to see you in New York City at our live event. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to serve you. I can't wait to see you on the inside. Bye, everybody.